Hi, kindergarten. So for today's wit and wisdom lesson, we're going to look back at a couple of questions and explore some different things, okay? So yesterday we talked a lot about details, and we asked why is adding details important? And we did a project where we added details to a bus picture, right? So we learned that details give the story more meaning. Details in pictures, details in the descriptive words that an author chooses to use. And we looked at some words. We looked at how words could have multiple meanings, like the word wave or duck. And we also looked at this question last week, and I want to review it a little bit. It says, how does CJ use his senses to learn about the world in Last Stop on Market Street? And we talked about noticing and wondering some of the things in there. So we're going to look closer at some of the details to see how CJ uses his senses to learn about the world around him in his neighborhood when he goes on his bus trip with Nana. So we're going to look directly at two senses. We're going to look at his eyes, how he uses his eyes to learn about the world around him. What does CJ see when he's on that bus? And we're going to talk about the sense of hearing, and we're going to look at details to see how CJ uses his ears to learn about things on that bus ride too. So we're going to look back at a few pages, and we're going to look at the sense of sight and the sense of hearing. Okay, remember, I use my eyes to see, I use my ears to hear. All right, so I'm going to get out my book. Here's the cover. Remember, the front of the book is called the cover. I see words at the top. That's called text. And this is the title, Last Stop on Market Street. Okay, this is kind of a cool cover because it actually wraps around to the back cover of the book. And this straight part is called the spine of the book. So let's see. So I know that right away we see CJ coming out of church with his Nana, right? And, there's his neighborhood. Okay. We talked about how the rain was freckling his shirt. Okay. He asked his Nana why it's raining, and she said, well, the trees need to drink too, and that she referenced the trunk of the tree as a straw, and CJ looked around for a straw but didn't see one. Okay. All right. There he is waving to his friend. Remember, we talked about how wave could mean two things. Waving, or like a wave in the ocean. Multiple meaning word. Okay. All right. There he is getting on the bus. Remember the details of the bus, how the author used the words from Nana when she talked about the bus breathing fire, and that the illustrator drew a dragon on the side of the bus. They added that really cool detail. Okay. All right. I like this page. I'm going to read it to you. It doesn't say exactly what CJ, it doesn't say he saw something, but it describes the bus, and it describes what CJ is looking at. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. And I can see him looking. That's a detail. He's looking at the lady with the hair up and curlers and butterflies in a jar. So he's definitely looking at her. So he sees her. All right. Here he is. And now he's looking out of the bus window. He's turned around. I'm not really sure what he sees, but he's looking out. Okay? All right. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Boy, what do you know about seeing? Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. So that's a man who's blind, right? He can't see like CJ. He uses his other senses to kind of tell what's going on. Two older boys got on, and he says, I wish I had one of those. So he's looking again at they have a iPad or a Walkman, and they have their earbuds in. And his Nana says, what for? You have the real live thing sitting across from you. The man with the guitar starts to play a song. CJ closes his eyes so that he can listen to the man playing the guitar. While his eyes are closed, this shows you what he's imagining while he's hearing the music. Okay. When he's done, he puts the coin in the hat that he got from the bus driver, and they get off. When they get off the bus, it's a different neighborhood. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. He saw crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows, and boarded-up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. "How come it's always dirty over here?" She smiled and pointed up to the sky. "Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful." And when he saw the perfect rainbow arching over the soup kitchen. We talked about a soup kitchen, but you can see the rainbow that he sees. So he's using his senses to look for different things. Even when he's in a rough neighborhood with old buildings, he uses his sense of sight to look for something beautiful in the world, and he found a rainbow. Okay? He really, really uses his sense of sight a lot in this book. And I like how when the author used the words, the illustrator drew CJ a little bit differently. He draws his face or his head always looking in a certain direction. Here he's looking in a window to see friends waving at him. Okay? All right? So he really used his senses a lot to learn about things going on around him. He used his eyes to look for beauty in the world when he found the rainbow. He used his eyes to look at different passengers on the bus. All right? And he saw a guy playing the guitar. And when the man played the song, he closed his eyes and he just used his ears. And he imagined different things in his brain while he listened to the song. So that was a detail that showed how you can use your sense of hearing to learn about things around you. You have two response pages, okay? They look almost exactly the same. They're on Seesaw. The first one looks like this. It says at the top, "How does CJ use his senses to learn about the world?" Complete the sentence and draw a picture to show how CJ uses his senses to learn about the world. The first one says, "CJ sees," and I have some eyes there to help you. Draw a picture of something that CJ saw in the book. Add details to your picture so that it looks meaningful, okay? The next one says, "CJ hears." Finish the sentence and draw a picture of something that CJ heard. Maybe something that he listened to or heard on the bus, all right? Make sure you add details to your picture so it's more meaningful, okay? All right, so you're starting to get an idea of how you can use your senses to learn about what's going on around you. And CJ gave you really good examples in that story of how he could use his eyes and his ears. So your job is to complete those two response activities and post them on Seesaw. I can't wait to see your pictures and what you come up with on your own. When you're done, make sure you click on that green check mark.